Michael, I had a slightly terrifying realization at a red light yesterday.
Oh no, haha. Did you forget your coffee on top of the car again? Because, wow, that was a tragic day for everyone involved. My heart still goes out to that spilled latte.
Honestly, I wish that was it. No, it was worse. I realized I'd been driving for 20 minutes, and I couldn't remember a single second of it. No memory of the turns, the scenery, the music on the radio, nothing. My brain had just completely checked out. I was on pure, unfiltered autopilot.
I know that feeling all too well. It's highway hypnosis. Your mind decides it's seen the same gray pavement and the same street signs 1,000 times, so it just puts a "gone fishing" sign on the door. It's an efficiency hack for the brain, but it's a little spooky when you realize you've traveled 5 miles without being mentally present.
Precisely, but it got me thinking. If our brains are wired to go on autopilot for complex tasks like driving, can we do the same for English? Because, well, I see so many students struggling every day. They feel like they're working a grueling double shift just to translate a simple "how are you?" or "where is the station?" in their heads.
Spot on. I call it the translation trap. See, most learners think of a thought in their native language, hunt for the English equivalent, double-check the grammar rules, and then finally speak. By the time the words leave their mouth, the conversation has moved on. It's like trying to run a high-speed sprint while carrying a massive, heavy suitcase full of thick dictionaries. You're exhausted before you even reach the finish line.
For sure. And that mental lag causes so much anxiety. That's our big topic today. How to drop that heavy suitcase and actually train your brain to treat English like a reflex rather than a homework assignment. We want to move your English from manual gear to automatic.
I love that. It really is like taking your brain to the English gym. You aren't just memorizing facts. You're building neural muscle memory so that the language becomes the path of least resistance.
It really is. But the good news is, you don't have to lift 100-pound weights on day one. You start with the narrative method. One tiny, simple sentence at a time.
Right. So, instead of just seeing a pen and thinking pen, you actually narrate your life like you're the main character in a movie?
Absolutely. In my head, I'm not just noticing an object, I'm building a direct bridge between the sight and the sound. I look at my desk and think, this is my pen. My pen is blue. It's sitting on my notebook. It sounds almost too basic. But when you apply that to your morning routine, wow, it's powerful. Think, I am waking up, the room is cold. I am reaching for my slippers now. I am walking to the kitchen. You're bypassing that middleman of translation entirely.
I'm with you. You're teaching your brain that the action of walking to the kitchen is the English phrase. I call this building the input and output ecosystem.
Let's dive into that. Because if those small sentences are the daily workout, then the input has to be the high-quality fuel, right?
Precisely. Your brain needs constant English food. But here's the kicker. It has to be food you actually enjoy. If you find politics mind-numbingly boring in your own language, then, for the love of language learning, do not watch the news in English. Your brain will just check out and go back to that gone fishing state.
That makes total sense. If your brain isn't interested, it stops absorbing the patterns. You need to connect the language to a genuine passion. I have a student who is obsessed with 1970s interior design. He watches these vintage home tours on YouTube, and because he's so focused on the velvet sofas and the weird wallpaper, he's learning words like vibrant, retro, and texture without even realizing he's studying. He's tricking his brain into fluency because he's chasing the content, not the grammar.
For sure, he's focused on the meaning, not the mechanics. And then there's the output side, the English out part. This is where the stage fright usually kicks in. People get paralyzed because they think they need a native speaker standing right in front of them to have a real practice session.
But you really don't. Not at the beginning. I tell my students, talk to the most interesting, patient, and available person you know. Yourself.
Oh, I do that constantly. My shower is basically a sold-out stadium. I'll be in there narrating my dinner plans. I think I'll make a spicy stir-fry tonight. Do I have enough ginger? I should check the crisper drawer. It sounds silly, but it forces your mouth muscles and your ears to get comfortable with the physical vibration of your own English voice. It's the ultimate safe space to make mistakes and catch them yourself.
It really does shake things up in your neural pathways. You're transforming from a passive observer who just knows English into an active speaker who uses English. It's that physical act of speaking out loud, even to a shampoo bottle, that makes the language feel like a part of your identity.
Absolutely. It's a slow burn. And you have to be incredibly patient. You won't wake up tomorrow dreaming in perfect Shakespearean English, but these 10-minute daily gym sessions are what eventually lead to that incredible aha moment. That moment where the words just flow out of your mouth before you've even had a chance to think about them.
Well, we've certainly dropped a lot of brain training knowledge today. I think it's time we recap some of those gems for the listeners before they head back into their daily routines. First, we used autopilot. This describes performing a task automatically without conscious thought. In language learning, the goal is to reach linguistic autopilot, where you can speak without the exhausting mental struggle for every single word.
Then we mentioned the middleman, or the translation trap. This refers to the extra mental step of translating from your native language before speaking. Training your brain is all about firing that middleman and linking your thoughts directly to English sounds.
We also explored the input and output ecosystem. Think of input as the English you absorb, like listening to this podcast, and output as the English you produce, like narrating your day to yourself. You need both for a healthy, growing English brain.
Finally, there's checkout, which means to lose focus or become mentally disengaged. To keep your brain from checking out, always choose English materials that spark your curiosity and make you forget you're actually studying.
So, what's your favorite way to feed your English brain this week? Are you a shower narrator like Michael? Or do you have a secret hobby you're exploring in English?
Seriously, let us know. Leave a comment. We're always looking for new ways to shake things up in our own routines.
Thanks for hanging out with us at English Learn HQ. Remember, small, consistent steps are what win the race.
Keep training those brains. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye for now.
Bye.